Good morning, students. Today we are going to do the poem Fire and Ice by Robert Frost. Robert Frost is a nature poet, and in this poem he has used two symbols of nature: fire to represent our strong and unlimited desires, and ice to symbolize the hatred and coldness that we have in our hearts for others. So as I read the poem, I am going to explain you the lines also. So first line says, some say the world will end in fire. Some say in ice. Some people have a belief that the world is going to end because of fire. Fire which represents strong desires. Whereas others feel that it's going to end because of ice. Ice which symbolizes hatred and coldness in our hearts. From what I have tasted of desire, I hold with those who favor fire. So the poet says that there are two people with two different notions. But I have a notion, I have a conviction that I am going to favor those people who say that the world is going to end because of desire. Because that is what I have experienced. The word tasted here means experienced. I hold with those who favor fire. Hold here means I stand with, or I favor those who favor fire, those who believe that fire is going to end the world. Now here children, you see the last two lines. From what I have tasted of desire, I hold with those who favor fire. The thought that the poet wants to convey does not end in one line. Hence these two lines are an example of enjambment. That's a very beautiful poetic device used by many poets. In the same line, last line, you have favor fire. Favor fire is also an example of alliteration. And the last line, I hold with those who favor fire, is also an example of assonance, because you have the vowel O, long sound of vowel O repeated in this line. So we have so many literary devices in this particular stanza. But if it had to perish twice, this is the second stanza. So the poet says, if the earth has to perish, if the earth has to end, if the earth has to die twice, then I think I know enough of it. Then according to him, he feels that he has seen that the world is full of hatred also. To say that for destruction, ice is also great. So he says, okay, fire is very, harmful. Desires are very harmful. But ice is also no less. It is also greatly devastating. Great means greatly devastating. To say that for destruction, ice is also great, very devastating, and would suffice. Would suffice means enough. So even the ice is also enough to end the earth. That is what the poem actually tells us. So we see that the poet has a conviction, the poet has the idea that fire and ice are equivalent as far as destruction is considered. But we can save the earth by becoming less destructive. So if we have desires, our desires should not be unchained. Our desires should be limited. We should have concern for all the human beings and living beings on the earth. Similarly, we should not hate anyone, because hatred will only bring in coldness in our heart. Coldness in our hearts. Hence, hatred is not required in the world. The world requires love. The world requires peace. The world requires help. And that is what we are supposed to extend. The world should not be full of hatred, coldness, jealousy, and self-centered people. So that is the message of the poet, that he wants us to behave wisely. He wants us to become loving caring and concerned towards other human beings.